Hello students. So in the last class, I have given you about some assignments. First, I will discuss the answers for the assignment, and then we'll go for the next study. So first question: name the father of biology. That was the first question. The father of biology is Aristotle. The father of biology is Aristotle. This is the answer for the first question. We'll go for the second question. Name the father of botany. So, the father of botany is Theophrastus. So, we know that Aristotle's student by name Theophrastus is called as the father of botany. Theophrastus is the father of botany. So, we go for the third question. So, what is growth? Third question was, what is growth? So, we know that growth is called as irreversible increase in size of an organism. Increase in size and volume of an organism is called as growth. So, here it is irreversible increase. Increase in size of an organism is called as growth. So here we know that it undergoes cell divisions. Either it may be mitotic cell divisions, so it leads to increase in the number of cells and it increases in the volume and leads to the increase in the size. So it is called as increase in size of an organism is called as growth. We'll go for the fourth question. Differentiate eccentric and intrinsic growth. The word eccentric means it is called as external growth. External growth is called as eccentric. So, as I mentioned in the last one, the non-living looks like a growth. The non-living looks like a growth. So that non-living looks like a growth due to external deposition is called as accretion. So eccentric is nothing but non-living growth is called as eccentric. Next we go for intrinsic. The meaning of intrinsic, it is nothing but internal growth. So all the living organisms has internal growth. So inside and external there is a presence of growth in a living organisms, and this is called as intersusception. The word intersusception is nothing but the internal and external growth in a living organism is called as intrinsic growth or internal growth. We go for the next question. What is metabolism? The word metabolism is nothing but, as I use the word function of an organ or organism is called as metabolism. Here the metabolism is defined as, it is the total sum of all the biochemical reactions taken place in a cell is called as metabolism. I repeat this. It is nothing but it is the total sum of all the biochemical reactions taken place in a cell is called as metabolism, or anabolism and catabolism together is called as metabolism. The word anabolism is to synthesize, is to prepare, is called as anabolism. Catabolism is nothing but the breakdown process, destruction of food. That is usually called as catabolism. Anabolism and catabolism together is called as metabolism. Now, we'll go for the next question. define reproduction. So reproduction is a process to produce the young ones of its own kind. Reproduction is nothing but the production, synthesis of young ones, offsprings of its own kind. Or reproduction is a process where it produces the young ones of its similar type, own type is called as reproduction, or it is also called as continuity of life. Continuity of life or continuation of generation. So, reproduction in this process, the formation of young ones, synthesis of young ones takes place is called as reproduction, or it is called as continuity of life. Now we go for the next question. Differentiate between asexual and sexual type of reproduction. The word asexual reproduction. The word asexual reproduction is called as uniparental reproduction. The meaning of uniparental, a single parent help in reproduction. So, as I mentioned here, it may be in the form of binary fission, budding, or endospore formation. All this comes under asexual reproduction. It is a uniparental reproduction where the animal or a plant body is split into two. This occurs in unicellular organisms. When a parent body is split into two, it is called as binary fission. So outgrowths produced from the single parent is called as bud. Or when an organism is split into pieces, each piece develops into a new one is called as fragmentation. Or an organism produces the spores. That phenomena is called as sporulation. So all this comes under asexual reproduction. Next, when we go for a sexual reproduction, the next one is sexual reproduction. The meaning of sexual reproduction, it is a biparental reproduction. Two parents reproduces. One is a male parent and the other one is a female parent. So here two parents involved in the reproduction, hence it is called as biparental reproduction, and there is a formation of gametes. In a sexual reproduction, formation of gametes takes place and this gametes fuses together and this phenomena is called fertilization, which leads to the formation of zygote. So this zygote is giving rise to young ones. So this is nothing but the assignment. So you're going to check your answers and write this and submit when you are coming to the college. So we are going for the next study called as binomial nomenclature. This is very important for exam and as well as for NEET also. So we are starting with what is binomial nomenclature. Naming an organism by two names. Naming an organism by two names. First name is always called as a genus name and the second name is called as a species name. Naming an organism by two names is called as binomial nomenclature. I am going to repeat this. Naming an organism by two names. One is usually the first name is always called as a genus name and the second name is always called as the species name. So any organism, any plant or an animal has its own scientific names and this scientific name should be always written by two names. The first name is a genus name and the second one is called as a species name. Hence it is called as binomial nomenclature. So this binomial nomenclature was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus. Binomial nomenclature was introduced by the father of taxonomy. Father of taxonomy called as Carolus Linnaeus. This person has introduced binomial nomenclature. Now we'll go for the other words. So here we know that in the world there are many millions of species of there. So that species will be called by the different local languages names. That leads to confusion with one with the other one. So, some rules has been made to make or to give a scientific name for each organism so that that can be universally applied or universally known to all the languages, known to the complete public, as well as giving a common name for one particular species so that it should not confuse with the other organisms. Like this, the rules and regulations, the principles, rules, regulations of binomial nomenclature. Rules, regulations, principles of binomial nomenclature is being accepted by ICBN. ICZN. So here each rules and regulations is being accepted or it should be taken a permission from the ICBN. So already as I mentioned, ICBN is called as International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. So this is called as ICBN. ICZN means it is the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. So here all the plants present in the world is being recorded and kept preserved in ICBN. So they give some, or ICBN will give some rules and regulations that should be followed and naming should be done. Same way, when we see an animal, when we discover, so animals are sent to ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. So, by taking the rules and regulations or permissions from ICBN, we can get to name an organism. So, naming an organism by two names is called as binomial nomenclature. Now, we are stepping into the next heading called as rules of binomial nomenclature. So we are going for the next study called as rules of binomial nomenclature. This is very important and it's a 5 marks question in the examination. So 5 marks question we are going to see one after the other. The first one, rules of binomial nomenclature. The first point is all the living organisms should be named by two names. So here two names are being present. So all the living organisms are scientifically named by the two names. That is the first point. And always the first name is always called as genus name. The first name is always a genus name and the second name. And the second name is always called as species name. So here, first one is genus and the other one is species. This is the first point. Now we'll go for the next point. Always genus should be the first and species next. Genus should always start with a capital letter. Genus, the first name should always start with a capital letter. So it should be written in a capital letter. Whereas the species name should be written in a small letter. Species name should be written in a small letter. So first name will be the genus followed by the species name. So the first starting genus name should start with a capital letter followed by a species name. Starting letter should be written in a small letter. Next. When we are writing a scientific name, the genus and and species should be underlined separately. So here the genus and the species should be underlined separately. So here when we are using a common line for both the genus and species, it becomes wrong. So genus should be underlined separately and species should be underlined separately. Next, when the scientific names are printed, when it is printed, it should be always printed in a italic language. So in a italic. So the scientific name should be written or it should be printed in a italic font. Italic fonts it should be written, and when we write in a handwriting, it can be written in a normal writing, one with a capital letter followed by a small letter. Next. Always the genus name is a noun. We should select the genus name from the noun. So it should be always noun, whereas the species name should be selected from adjective. It should be selected from adjective. So the first one is a noun and the species name is called as adjective. Now we'll go for the next one. So here when we write these scientific names, after writing the scientific name, we can write even the discoverer name. Discoverer name can be written next to the scientific name. For example, when we go for an example called as Mangifera indica. So Mangifera indica. So here I have written with a capital letter, small letter, it is underlined separately, and writing next to this, the discoverer name can be written separately. For example, I use the word Lin. So the word Lin stands for Linnaeus. So this person Linnaeus has discovered about Mangifera indica. Now we start with the next words. So the next rules and regulation is, one of this is called as taxonomy. The word taxonomy is nothing but in a scientific names, the first genus name followed by species name, both the names will be the same. Genus name, whereas the species name, both the names are same, that is called as taxonomy. The word taxonomy, genus, species will be same. I am going to write some examples here. So some of the examples are cobra. Cobra is called as Naja. So here the genus name is same, species name is also same, hence it is called as taxonomy. Now when we go for one more example called as gorilla, it is called as gorilla. When we use the word rat, for rat, ratus. Red fox, vulpes. Next mouse, Alice. So these are nothing but some of the scientific names where genus and species will be similar, same. Now we go for the last point called as synonyms. The meaning of synonyms, all the living organisms are scientifically named. So usually only one name will be there for each organism. If by mistake or one or the other, if an organism, the scientific names are given 2 or 3 for one particular species or for one particular organism, if 2 or more names are given, only the first name is considered, whereas the second or the third names what is given to an organism cannot be taken. Only the first name is taken, and this first name taken is called as synonyms. Synonym is nothing but 2 or 3 names which are given to a particular organism. Only first name is taken, and it is second or third will not be considered. So all these are nothing but the rules of binomial nomenclature. This is important. Now we are going for a next heading called as trinomial nomenclature. So meaning of trinomial nomenclature, naming an organism by 3 names. So, as I mentioned, binomial means naming an organism by two names. Here, trinomial means it is been naming an organism by three names. The first name is always called as a genus name, followed by species name, and followed by subspecies. So here, trinomial nomenclature, naming an organism by three names. First one is a genus name, always it should start with a capital letter. Followed by species name, it should start with a small letter, and next followed by subspecies, again it is written in a small letter. So naming an organism by three names is called as trinomial nomenclature, and this was proposed by Huxley and Strickland. These two persons, Huxley and Strickland, has proposed trinomial nomenclature, and this word trinomial nomenclature was given by Lamarck. As already mentioned, Lamarck full name is Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck. So here, this person, Jean-Baptiste de Lamarck, is famous for his theory called as use and disuse. So this person has given a name called as trinomial nomenclature. So I am giving you some of the examples for trinomial nomenclature. One is called as Indian cow. Indian cow is called as Corpus splendens. This is called as Indian crow. Indian crow, Corpus splendens. Next, cabbage. So for cabbage, trinomial nomenclature is called as Brassica oleracea capitata. So capitata is nothing but the cabbage. So this is called as trinomial nomenclature. So we are going for the next heading called as species concept. So we are going to see what is species concept. The word species concept was given by, or it is discovered by, given by John Ray. This person has mentioned about species concept, John Ray. So here, the word species is nothing but a group of organisms. A group of organisms which are similar, which are same, which can interbreed, which can cross or interbreed among themselves to produce a fertile offspring is called as species. I repeat this, a group of organisms. Group of organisms which are similar. This organisms which can interbreed. The word interbreed is nothing but cross made between each other or interbreed among themselves. They interbreed among themselves to produce fertile offspring or young one. This is called as species. I repeat this, a group of organisms which are similar and they can interbreed among themselves to produce a fertile offspring or young ones. This is called as species. Or species can be defined as, one more definition, a group of organisms which are similar, which have a genetically similar, and they can reproduce in a same manner. So all this called as morphologically similar, genetically similar, and origin is also similar. All this together is called as species. I repeat this, they should be genetically similar, morphologically similar, as well as origin is also should be similar. Only then we use the word species. Next, species is called as the lowest grade, or it is called as lowest rank under taxonomy. Lowest grade or lowest rank under taxonomy is called a species, or we use a word, it is the basic unit of classification. So here we can define species as a basic unit of classification. It is the first need of classification, or we use the word lowest rank under classification. So this is called as species. Now we are stepping into some characters of a species. So we are going for the next study called as important characters of a species. So here, as we know that the species are present in different areas. It is not only one area, it is not restricted to a particular place, or it is present in different areas. The species are present in different areas, but all the species will be same in all the areas. So here, one plant what is growing here will be same in all the areas. So we say species is constant, or species will be same in all different areas is called as the first point in the important characters. Now we'll step into the next one. The species shows the complete anatomical similarity. Complete anatomical similarities. So here, the word species, that species should be same. That is called as, it shows complete anatomical similarity. The word anatomy, it is nothing but the internal structure. So when you take one species, the internal structure for that particular species will be same in all the species. So anatomical species will be same. Next one. So size, shape and chromosome number. Chromosome number is same in one particular species. In one particular species, we say the size of the plant or the size of an organism is same, shape as well as the chromosome number. For example, when you take about cat, when you take an example called as cat, in cat the size will be same and as well as the shape is also same in all the cats where it is present. It may be present in different areas, but the size and shape will be same. So here, for any particular species, the chromosome number also should be same. For example, I am giving you an example called as humans. Humans. So here, human is one of the species and the human name is called as Homo sapiens. So Homo sapien. So here, this species, humans, have a particular size. They have a particular shape as well as the chromosome number for all the humans it is same. That is called as 2n is equal to 46. So here the chromosome number for all the humans it is same. So this is about 1. Next one. The species has, as I said, chromosome number, even the species has the genetical makeup. Genetical makeup is also same in all the species. In one particular species, the genetic makeup is same. So here, the genetic material will be same. For example, I use the word DNA. The DNA is same in one particular species. That is also one of the important characters. Next. The functioning of a cell is same. For example, functioning of a species cell is same because it may be hormone synthesis, enzyme synthesis, protein synthesis, all this will be same. But here, depending upon the availability of the nutrients, slightly variations may be present, but functioning of the cell, for example, one particular plant produces, for example, when you use the word castor, So the castor plant produces the seeds. From that it can produce castor oil, can be extracted. So in all the plants, the castor seeds produces castor oil, can be extracted. Same way, hormones and proteins will be similar. Next, we'll go for the other one. So the word species should interbreed. The species should interbreed each other among themselves, so that the species breeds together or process themselves to produce a fertile young ones. So fertile young ones or fertile offsprings is called as So here, I'm repeating it. A species is nothing but an organism which can breed or which can recross freely, interbreed freely and produce a fertile young ones. The meaning of fertile, which can, that young one can grow up and also they also should reproduce. That is called as fertile or fertility. So when we use the word opposite word sterile, organism is grown but it cannot reproduce, is called as sterile. But here they must and should produce a fertile young ones. For that we use the word species. So all these are nothing but the important characters of a species. So we are going for the next heading called as taxonomic categories or Linnaean hierarchy. So here the taxonomical categories means it is nothing but the classification has various categories or various several ranks of being present. Each unit of classification, is called as taxon. So here arrangement of the categories, ranks from the top to the bottom, like this. When we are arranging that unit of classification, one level, one rank or one unit is called as taxon. So taxonomic categories is nothing but the arrangement of different categories or different ranks or different levels arranged one above the other in a proper manner is called as taxonomic categories. This taxonomic categories for the first time it was discovered by Carolus Linnaeus. So Carolus Linnaeus has classified the categories into 7 ranks, 7 taxon. So this person has classified the organisms under 7 ranks. Hence, this is also called as Linnaean hierarchy. So here, this Carolus Linnaeus is also called as the father of taxonomy. This person has categorized the organisms into different levels, different categories, one after the other. So now we are going for this 7 ranks. So there are 7 ranks or 7 taxon arranged one above the other. So this ranks we are going to see one after the other. The first rank or the first place is always called as kingdom. The first one is kingdom. The second one is called as division. Division, or we use the word phylum. Division or phylum. We go for the next one called as class. Class. The next one is called as order. Order. The next one is called as family. So the next one is called as genus, and the next one is called as species. So here the Linnaean has classified the different categories under 7 ranks or 7 taxon. Always the first, you can't interchange this. It should be written in the same order. the first rank always is called as kingdom, followed by a second rank or second taxon is called as a division or phylum. The third rank is always called as a class. Fourth rank is called as order, fifth rank is called as family, the sixth rank is called as genus, and the seventh rank is called as species. To remember this, I am giving a one blind sentence to be remembered, to remember this in an order. So this is called as keep plants clean, or family gets sick. So you can remember this sentence. When you remember this sentence, you can place these 7 ranks. So keep, kingdom, plants, phylum, clean, called as class, order, O, order, family, F, family, gets, genus, sick, called as species. So when you remember this sentence, you can recall one after the other. Now we are going one after the other. What is species? What is genus? All that I am explaining one after the other. As I said, species is called as lowest rank, or it is called as the basic unit of classification. So it is written in the last one. So it is called as lowest rank under taxonomy. So we are going one after the other. First we will start with species. So species is nothing but a group of organisms which are similar, which can freely interbreed each other or among themselves to produce a fertile egg ones. So here, as I use the word species, a group of organisms, it should be similar in function, similar in origin, and they should interbreed each other. So reproduction also should be same. Then we use the word species. Now, species is also called as the lowest rank under taxonomy, or it is also called as the basic unit of classification. It is also called as basic unit of classification. So, basic unit of classification, or it is also called as lowest rank. So, this is a 7th rank. 7th rank or lowest rank or basic unit called as species. Now, I am giving you some of the examples for species. The first one called as mango. Mango, scientific name is Mangifera indica. The next example, we go for coconut. The coconut is called Cocos nucifera. So we go for one more example called as potato. Potato called as Solanum tuberosum. So these are some of the examples. So the species in mango is called as indica. This is the species indica. Whereas in a coconut, nucifera is called as the species name. In a potato, tuberosum is called as the species name. Like this, each organisms they have a scientific names. The first name is genus name, followed by species. So species names is called as indica, nucifera, tuberosum. So when we go for one more example called as lion. An animal example called as lion. So it is called as Panthera leo. Panthera leo. So this Leo is called as species name. Like this, we have various species of it. So it is a group of organisms. Now we'll go for the next one, 6th one. This is a 7th one under the category. Now we are going for a 6th one, and it is called as genus. genus. So when we get a genus, it is nothing but a group of species. A group of species is called as genus. So, as I use the word, a group of organisms which are similar, which are genetically similar, morphologically similar, we use the word species. Again, a group of species is called as genus. So here, the same examples we can see here. Cookies is called as the genus name for coconut. Mangifera is the genus name of a mango. Solanum is called as the genus name of a potato. Pancreas is called as the genus name of a lion. So like this, it has different genus of there. I'm giving you some more examples. So when we take Solanum, I use the word Solanum is a genus name of a potato. In Solanum, there are two different species of it. So one we take about a brinjal. When we take an example called as brinjal, for brinjal we use the word Solanum, melanoid, melangina is nothing but the brinjal name, but the genus is Solanum. When you take one more example called as potato, again it is called as Solanum tuberosum. So here the genus is same, but the species are different for a brinjal and for a potato. So a group of species is called as genus. Now we are going for one more example called as pancreas. So we know that pancreas is nothing but, I use the word genus name of a lion. So when we use the word pancreas, Leo, this is called as lion. Now when we go for pancreas tigris, this is called as tiger. This is called as a tiger. So for lion and tiger, the genus name is same, but species are different. So these are some of the examples for genus. Now we go for the next one. So we'll go for the next one called as family. So the family is nothing but, it is a group of genus. A group of genus is called as family. So here, as I use the word species, a group of species is genus. A group of genus is called as family. So here, when you take a plant, in the plant, the family always ends with a word called as is. So here, this word should be remembered. In the family should always suffix or it should end with a word called as is. When you take animal example, always the family ends with the word idea. So this is nothing but an animal and this is called as plant. Now we'll get some of the examples to make you understand. So one of this is called as Solanaceae. So when we take a plant, in plant Solanaceae. So this is a name of a family. So this family Solanaceae has some various examples. So one of this example is called as Solanum. One of the example is Solanum and the other example is called as Datura. So Datura, Solanum comes under a family called as Solanaceae. This is in plant. When we go for an animal example, so animal we use the word Felidae. So Felidae. Here in Felidae there are again two examples. One is called as Pancreas and the other one is called Felis. So panther is nothing but panther, Leo. This is one. Felis, catus. This is called as cat. So here, Felidae has panther and Felis comes under the family. So this is about family. Now we'll go for the next one called as order. The next one is order. A group of families is called as order. A group of families. A group of families comes under order. So here, again, many families together forms an order. In plants, the order always ends with a word called as yes. So, in plants, the order should end or suffix with a word called as yes. So, when we take an animal, in animal, it is called as day. So, this is the word which ends with an animal word, or animals are suffixed with the word day for an order. So, we take one of the examples. So, here, one of the example is called as coniferales. Order, coniferales. That is present in the plants. So here, coniferales, examples called as pinus. So you have studied about pinus, that comes under coniferales. Next, sapinidales. One more order called as sapinidales. In this sapinidales, you see one of the example is called as mango, citrus, all that comes under sapinidales. So this is plants. Now when we go for animals, so in animals, one is called as Felidae. In this, you can see cat, lion, tiger, all this comes under Felidae. Next, we go for Conidae. So in this Conidae, you can see there is a presence of wolf and red fox comes under Conidae. Next, we go for Hymenae. So in this Hymenae, examples called as hymenes. Hyenas is the example. Here, spotted hyena, and striped hyenas are being present. Striped hyenas are being present. So this is some of the examples for order. So we are going for the next one called as class. The word class is nothing but a group of orders. A group of orders are called as class. So as I mentioned, a group of families is order. A group of orders is called as class. So here, there are various classes have been present. For example, when we go for plants, animals, they have various classes are there. One of the example is called as class Mammalia. So in the class Mammalia, there are again carnivorous, animals are there, and some of them are primates are there, non-primates are there. So all this comes under class Mammalia. So it is nothing but a group of orders is called as class. Now we go for the next one called as division or phylum. So here a group of classes. A group of classes comes under division. Group of classes comes under division or phylum. The word division is always used in the botany. The phylum is used under zoology. Now, we'll talk about divisions. So, in plants, in botany, we use the word division. So, there are 4 divisions out there. The first one is called as division. Division, bryophyta, division, pteridophyta, third one, division, gymnosperms, and division, angiosperms. So, this is a non-vascular plants. This is pteridophytes are called as shade-loving plants. Gymnosperms are called as naked-seeded plants. Angiosperms are called as closed-seeded plants. So, this comes under divisions. Now, we'll go for phylums. There are different phylums out there. I write one after the other. So, we go for animal phylums. So as I use the word division, comes under botany, phylums comes under zoology. So the first phylum is called as phylum Porifera. Phylum Porifera, they are nothing but pore-bearing animals. Phylum Coelenterata. So they have a gastrovascular cavities. So they are called as GVC, comes under Coelenterata. Next, Ctenopora. So, the phylum Ctenopora is the next phylum. Next phylum Platyhelminthes, flatworms. Phylum Ashhelminthes. Ashhelminthes is also called as Nematihelminthes, roundworms. Phylum Annelida. Archon comes under this. Phylum Arthropoda. So, jointed legs have been present under Arthropoda. We know that cockroach is one of the examples. Phylum Mollusca. So, here freshwater mussel is one of the example for molluscans. Phylum Echinodermata. Starfish comes under phylum Echinodermata. Hemichordata. Berenograsses is an example for Hemichordata. Phylum Chordata. So, in phylum Chordata, this is a major one, last phylum Chordata, and it has various classes. So, in a class Pisces, we are going to study about fishes. Class Amphibians, we study about frog. Class Reptiles, we study about lizards, snakes. Class Aves or birds. So, we are going to study the different types of birds under this. Class Mammalia, under this, apes, monkeys, humans, all this will come under class Mammalia. So, all these are nothing but different phylums. Now, we'll go for the next study. So, we're going for the next one called as kingdom. So, a group of divisions is called as kingdom in botany. A group of phylums comes under zoology is called as kingdom. So, a group of division or phylum is called as kingdom. So, we know that all the living organisms are classified into 5 kingdoms. The first one is called as kingdom Monera. The second one is called kingdom Protista. The third one is called kingdom Mycota. The fourth one is called kingdom Plantae. It is also called as Metaphyta. And kingdom Animae or Metazoa. kingdoms. Kingdom Monera. So in this Kingdom Monera, all the unicellular organisms has been included under this. So here we are talking about the examples called as unicellular organisms. Whereas in Kingdom Protista, here we are going to study about algae and phylum Protozoans. So here the phylum Protozoans is not included under animal kingdom, it is included under the phylum Protista. Kingdom Mycota. In Kingdom Mycota, it deals with the study of fungi. Here the examples are called as fungi, mushroom comes under this. Kingdom Plantae or Metaphyta has 4 divisions. It has 4 divisions as I mentioned about Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms, Angiosperms comes under this kingdom called as Plantae. Kingdom Animae or Metazoa has 11 phylums. 11 phylums have been present under this as I mentioned about Porifera, Coelenterata, Echinophora, Platyhelminthes, Achelminthes, Animata, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. All this comes under the kingdom. A group of divisions or group of phylums comes under divisions. So all these seven taxons, categories comes under Linnaean hierarchy or taxonomical categories. So I am repeating it again. First one is kingdom, the next one is followed by division or phylum, the next one is followed by class, order, family, genus and species. So here this is called as Linnaean hierarchy. So we are going for the next examples and what is its classifications. Now, first column is nothing but taxa or taxons. Here, mango plant, wheat plant, and man is taken as an example here. In first one is kingdom. Kingdom is Plantae for mango. Division is Bryophyta. Class Dicotyledon. 2 cotyledons have been present, hence it is called as Dicotyledon. Order Sapinidales. Family Anacardiaceae. Genus Mangifera. Species is called as Indica. This is the classification of a mango plant. Now we go for the wheat plant. In wheat, the kingdom is called as Plantae. The division is called as Embryophyta. And the class is called as Monocotylidae and the order is called as Poales and the family is called as Poaceae and the genus is called as Triticum and the species is called as Aestivum. So this is nothing but the classification of a wheat plant. Now when we come for a man, in man, kingdom comes under Animae and phylum. Phylum is Chordata. Next one is class Mammalia. Next one is order is called as primates. Next family of a man is called as Homidae. Genus name is Homo and the species name is called as Sapien. So this is nothing but the classification of a man. So these classifications are important for the exam.